Hello, Internet, and thank you for joining me around this particular dumpster fire. A couple of weeks ago, I went to go see Godzilla Minus One, and I got there with enough time to watch the previews, which is always my favorite part of any movie theater going experience. And I just so happened to catch one that was for Kung Fu Panda 4. And I can say without reservation that after watching that trailer, I have never felt more old and tired. And I was thinking about this when I was talking to my friend about my video, and he pointed out that I had called Felicia Harding. And yeah, kids, this is why you don't get old. You forget things, and then you mispronounce things in YouTube videos, and then you're too lazy to go back and change them. Also, cocaine is a hell of a drug. You see, I'm old enough to remember when the original Kung Fu Panda was coming out. And honestly, I don't really have a great memory with Kung Fu Panda. It was not my cup of tea, nor was it something that literally came out of the blue to sucker punch me in the face. It's just been one of those movies that's been out there in the ether, and I've seen a few times, but I haven't really bonded with it. I feel that way with a lot of different DreamWorks properties, and Kung Fu Panda is better than most, but honestly, it's just never been my personal thing. So when I saw that they were making a fourth one, it really wasn't like they were trying to murder my childhood. It was more that I just had to wonder why. Honestly, the whole thing just makes me feel tired. Like, why are we putting the effort into this series that should have ended, honestly, on a really good note in the third one? A trilogy is a good thing. 3 is a good number. 4, that's a crowd. However, I'm making an effort to make these videos shorter, so I thought I'd react to the trailer, and hopefully I wouldn't ramble on for 20 minutes or however long my videos normally are. Now, to preference my type of reaction, it's going to be still images with my crappy balloon guy here because I don't have anything else right now, and I don't want to set up like a trailer thing or stop it every couple of seconds to give my thoughts on a frame-by-frame basis here. However, I'm just going to give you some general thoughts after I watched it like 6 or 7 times yesterday and took some notes. Now, in that spirit, I want to start off by saying, am I an asshole or is Jack Black kind of fallen off? Like, I remember watching him as, an early 30s something, and he was, doing stuff with Tenacious D. That was super awesome. I loved it. It was all super funny. I was, younger when The Pick of Destiny came out, and I thought that movie was hysterical and awesome. But lately, I find that his roles, or the ones he seems to be picking, or at least the stuff with him in it, it's not great. And what I mean by that is it doesn't seem like he's putting in his A game. Like, I'm an emotionless husk of a human being, but he just seems so soulless recently. I liked him in Super Mario Brothers. I'm willing to eat some crow on that. I didn't think he was going to be good, but then he turned out to be great. And now when I see him pop up in places, I don't know. I approach everything he does with caution because I don't know if I'm going to get awesome School of Rock Jack Black or I'm going to get a super lazy interpretation of something or just Jack Black as Jack Black. You know what I mean? So I started watching these trailers and, Jack Black, he's doing his Jack Black thing. He's being Poe, the Kung Fu Panda, the Dragon Warrior, and Dustin Hoffman's there. He's being, I don't know what kind of mouse, rodent, fox thing he is, but he's there. He's collected a paycheck. That's all fine. And then, like a fart in an elevator, all of a sudden I'm slapped in the face with the voice of Aquafina. And I'm reminded that Aquafina exists, and my day is ruined. I don't want to get too off topic here from the Kung Fu Panda trailer, but I do feel like this needs to be addressed. I don't like Aquafina. She's kind of like the anti Keith David to me. Like if Keith David was advertising crystal meth, I would have never gotten sober. However, if Aquafina was advertising sex dolls that look like Rogue from the original cartoon, I'd want to go jump off a bridge because that reminds me that Aquafina is still drawing breath. And that just isn't okay, America. I imagine in a just world, many disparate voices would come together as one singular cry, demanding legislation that the vocal cords of Aquafina be removed and she be isolated to the most desolate place on the planet so that she would never have to be in another movie again and we would not have to suffer as a people. However, we live in the worst timeline. And so instead of any of that happening, we have tiny rabbit children singing about violence in the Kung Fu Panda 4 trailer. Remember when I said I felt old and tired? These things, these are making me feel very old and very tired. You see, dear viewer, I remember longer than 5 minutes ago. So I remember that in Raya and the Last Dragon, a movie that I have emailed Disney requesting a refund for, had a Kung Fu baby. Why did it have a Kung Fu baby? Why was the baby being taken care of by monkeys? None of this is explained. Why are these rabbits children? Why are they so violent? I guarantee you this will not be. So in conclusion, I anticipate these things to be immensely annoying and the worst part of the movie. Ultimately, while that might be the worst part of the movie, it's not the only problem that I have with this trailer and probably will have with this movie. I think the biggest problem I'm going to have with it is going to be that on a conceptual level, this is just lazy. I don't feel like we needed another Kung Fu Panda movie. And from what the trailer is telling us, I mean, it's not even a creative villain. It's all the old villains that this new villain is going to just use the shell of. That's weird. That's weird. I don't want to see all the same old villains do the same thing that they did. I want to see new villains. I want to see new characters. I want to see new adventures. And it feels like this is going to take place where Poe has to like step back and give the mantle of Dragon Warrior to someone else. And that's so lazy, honestly. It's so hollow from my point of view because it's the exact same thing that they did with Toy Story 4. As I recall, Toy Story 4 was a passing of the torch movie that was probably the most confusing version of that storyline because like Woody does this whole thing where he passes the torch off saying, hey, I can't be with Bonnie anymore because I got to go be with Bo Peep. And he passes it off to the other toys, but it doesn't seem like the other toys even care or whatever. And then it's supposed to be like, oh, Woody's going to go on all these new adventures with kids in the sandbox or whatever. And it didn't need to exist is really what I want to say here. It was such an unnecessary thing to divorce Woody from that. Kind of like it's going to be so unnecessary for Poe to divorce his character from the Dragon Warrior bit. And it really feels like they're trying to give it to the Aquafina character. Like maybe they're going to make 10 movies with her in it or something. And that just seems like a hell that would be constructed specifically for me. That's really divine punishment just for me is 10 movies with her, made by DreamWorks, and they come out like every year. Off this topic, I just want to say that I don't know if it's the trailer, I don't know if it's the dumpster phone that I have, or if it's the trailer itself. But the animation looks like garbage. I think that this isn't done yet. This movie is supposed to come out in like what, a few weeks from when I'm doing this. I don't know when I'm going to upload this, but when I do upload this, I'm sure that there's still going to be a couple of weeks left. But it just seems very unfinished and rushed. And I don't know. I just feel like the animators over at DreamWorks maybe weren't given enough time or something. They're killing these animators is what I'm saying. Those are all my core thoughts mostly on this trailer. And I just wanted to get them out there before the movie comes out because I hope that I'm wrong about a lot of this. I'm hoping that the movie comes out and eventually when it comes on streaming, I can see it and it'll be a lot better than what I anticipate. But right now, this movie looks just so depressing. But I also just want to cover things more as they come out. And I'm trying to keep my fingers on the pulse of movies in general. I feel like I need to get over my ADHD and autism and really focus in and drill down and concentrate my thoughts so that I can make a video about how I feel that money can be made with art as opposed to what we're currently doing, which is making art for money. As I feel like this sort of huge profit-driven motive just is making our films and our art so much worse. Just to kind of get my thoughts out here about this, Kung Fu Panda 4 feels like uninspired corporate garbage. Like it's just DreamWorks shitting this out and saying, here's a new Kung Fu Panda, everyone freak out. And they expect us to dump millions and millions of dollars into this. And you can tell because they invested something like $275 million into this project. They're never making that back. But then I want everyone to turn and look at Nimona. Nimona was a movie that came out last year on Netflix, and it is exquisite. It's amazing. I love that movie. It's so creative. It's so funny. It's so well acted and animated, and just the story's astounding. But it only got a budget of $60 million. And I hope it definitely made that money back. It's definitely worth $60 million. Hell, it's probably worth $100 million. But they only got 60 and they made something amazing. And it feels like with Kung Fu Panda 4, they made, something that is just shit. Ugh. This was honestly a really hard video to record and make. I put a lot more effort into this than pretty much every other one. I'm on like 2 hours trying to record this thing, but everything just comes out as like a sludge. Ugh. At least I can move forward confidently knowing that Jack Black's not going to release any other nostalgia baiting movies in the next couple of years. No!